Open the meeting.
So
You ready?
Okay.
he said he's doing $87 million.
I call this meeting to order the Cibola County Board of Commissioners. We're having our regular meeting today, Thursday, May 27, 2021. It's 5 p.m. now. We're here at the Cibola County Commission Chamber. Pursuant to the Public Health Order dated May 14, 2021, limited public gathering in the state, the following meeting attendance capacity rules apply. And here in Cibola County, we're at the turquoise level, low risk. The meeting will be open to the public. Members of the public may also attend and listen to the meeting via Facebook. So with that, I've called the meeting to order. We'll have the roll call. Daniel Torres, our chairman, will not be with us here today. Martha Garcia, I'm here. Christine Lowry,
Here.
Ralph Lucero,
Here.
Robert Windhorst.
Here.
We have 4 commissioners present. That constitutes a quorum. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask Christine Lowry to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to ask Ralph Lucero to give the prayer.
Dear Lord, please help us to make the great or good decisions for the entire Cibola County. Also, dear Lord, we ask for your for more rain that we are in great need of, and also help us all to make the final and good decisions at this meeting. And please help all the people that have survived through this COVID. In God's name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you. With that, we'll go through the approval of the agenda at this time.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Windhorst, second by Commissioner Lowry. You have any questions on the agenda? If not, call for a roll call vote. Ralph Lucero?
Yes.
Okay. Robert Windhorst?
Yes.
Christine Lowry?
Yes.
Martha Garcia? I vote yes. 4 in favor. No opposition. We're now at the public comment. The public has the opportunity to provide comment during this meeting, and it's limited to 3 minutes unless the county commissioner requests for more information. Comments may be made by email and will be entered and are read into the meeting minutes if less than 3 minutes by emailing comments to J.P. Harasic, Cibola County, New Mexico, U.S. So do we have any public comments at this time? There's none. So with that, we will move forward. The only thing I have in here is I have a memo that was given to the mayor of the city of Grants, Paul Ludy and Kate Fletcher, and I would like to read that at this time, and it's from Joan Klonowski. I think that's the way you pronounce her name. The Grant City Council meeting on 4/26/21 was a remarkable example of cooperation between 2 government agencies. I have never seen anything like it in my entire life. Mr. Ludy gave his usual Excellent presentation. The council listened attentively and respectfully. The experience renewed my hope for my county, a priceless gift. Thank you. So she wrote that, and thank you very much for our staff for doing a good job, our manager, our finance officer, working with with the City of Grants, and as well as other organizations that are in the area. And I applaud the excellent work you are all doing. I know it takes more than one or two people to do it. It takes the entire staff here under the county office to take care of issues. So with that, we'll move on to the minutes. We have minutes from April 22nd, the regular commissioners meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for April 22nd.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, motion by Robert Lucero, second by Christine Lowry. How do you vote, Commissioner Lucero?
Yes.
How do you vote, Commissioner Windhorst?
Yes.
And Commissioner Lowry?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So with that, we have 4 votes in favor and none in opposition. And at this point in time, we'll have reports, budget and finance report from our county manager, Ms. Kate Fletcher, and Paul Ludi, our finance director.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Garcia. Paul, would you mind if I took 3 minutes before we started the...
Please do.
I would like to say the sad news of we lost a family member from our Cibola County, Mike Allen, our IT director, passed away last week. We are extremely sad. We will miss him. He was a great... I loved working with him. I enjoyed working with him. He was very loyal to our county and tried as hard as he could, everything he could do. With that said, I want to let you know that we have spoken throughout our county, and we have decided that we will be doing a memory day for Mike Allen. Mm-hmm. And this memory day will be for everyone to be able to write something for his family of what we remember of Mike. And with that, we're going to have a day, an open house within our IT department, and we are going to ask people to come in. Mike loved coffee, loved donuts, he loved old-fashioned country songs, and we're just going to open it up to everybody so they can come in and really talk about how much they're going to miss him. So I just wanted to let you know. I will let you know when this day is next week sometime. We're just making sure that we have everything ready. I just wanted to say that, you know, I'm very sorry to tell you this, and we have lost a family member, and we will all miss him. So thank you.
And on behalf of the commissioner, we have gotten to know Mike as he worked with us on our technical problems and issues that we would have, or just to go to him to find out how we can get information on our phones or our personal computer, and has been very, very helpful. He was a very gentle giant, I remember, as he would patiently explain to us as to what needs to be done and how to do it. And just to walk by, he would always greet everybody. That's how I remember him. And our condolences to the family. Not only his immediate family, but to his county family. And I say that with a heartfelt condolence on behalf of the commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. Paul, are you ready?
Yes.
Can I say one good thing before we say? I'd like to say something really quick before you take it off. I'd like to congratulate the Cibola County team. We were awarded the GFOA award. We will be celebrating it on another commission meeting due to the fact that we'll be getting a plaque from them. Paul worked. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for putting all that work in from me to you. I'm very proud that we've been honored with this award. But I just want to let you know, so I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, does that plaque come with a cash award?
No, it doesn't. It is going to come with a video, though, from the
Oh,
executive
great.
director to the county, addressing it to the county.
Okay.
So that'll be something we'll be able to enjoy as well. But we should be receiving a plaque, a video from the executive director, and a certificate to the finance department.
Thank you.
So the finance reports and budgets are located on the finance department webpage if the public would like to view them. Wendy and Christina have both bank accounts, our main operating account as well as our tax, our treasurer's tax account. Those are both reconciled through April. Great job. So, and then, like Kate had mentioned, we were able to receive the GFOA Distinguished Budget Award. That was the book that we put together. It was created using national standards and national guidelines. So it reflects that we're being transparent. It's being used as a policy document, a communication tool, and we met all of the criteria to get that award, so it feels really good. I know DFA used to duplicate that GFOA award, so this is a really big deal, and we hope to get more awards from them in the future, not only the budget award. This is what we received so far by mail. The plaque should look like the one on the left, and then the certificate. So this is really great. It should be here in 8 to 10 weeks. Here's our current gross receipts tax through April. As you can see, we're staying steady, and everything is looking good. Again, this is just the breakdown. It shows how the GRT comes to us from Taxation and Revenue Department. We have, you see on the yellow here, that's when they earmarked it, so they're reporting differently now. So we did come up with the solution for percentages to ensure that the gross receipts tax is still going to every fund or department per our ordinances. Here again, comparison between grants, Cibola, and Milan. We're all doing well, so that's good news. This tall red line right here is when COVID hit, and we're doing okay. Here's our current property tax collections. The green is our budget, and the blue is our actuals. We have exceeded both budgets. We'll be cleaning that up here for year end and doing a budget increase for these two revenue sources in June. Here we have our interim budget recommendation. So this is the proposed interim budget for FY22. The fiscal year for the county runs from July 1st to June 30th. And this has been publicly and internally reviewed. This budget is based on projections and does not represent actual cash. This interim budget, it's required statutorily by Section 662 to go to the state. Basically what it does, it's a placeholder. That's why it's called the interim budget. Our books aren't closed. We have to wait for June 30th for that. So the beginning cash balances on here are projected, and same with the revenues, expenditures, and transfers. This gets our foot in the door, and it gives us budget authority to spend right at July 1st. So we do that, and now we'll continue to work on this interim budget to create a final budget. There have been some proposed changes. We still need to talk with some other departments that we have changed because like I said, this is a placeholder budget. It gets us in the door. We can finalize our budget and hash everything out. And if there's anything that you guys want to vote on, we can do that as well. So,
But this is something that we can get approved. It's solid enough for them to approve it, so we can spend on July 1.
you can see that our transfers equal 0, which is a must. Because if you move money out of one fund, it's got to go into another. So that's why that nets out to 0. We don't have any projected cash balances, so it is submittable to the state. And this is it. The commissioners, we went over the detail for this recap. So when we went through the detail, all of that pulled into here, and that's where we got the numbers for the recap. But do any of you have questions?
I just have like the question that I've been asking is, how do we go through stuff or question stuff, or when do we
Be able to vote on
on the final budget?
Yeah, on the final.
on the final
Oh.
budget. We're so far near this deadline. We really, truly, I do understand you have some areas you want to have to be able to discuss.
Right.
And yes, you definitely should have your opportunity.
That's where the
We
final.
should have, that's why we have the board. You guys can vote. If you guys disagree on things, you guys can vote. So
It's on the final.
we'll do it for the final.
Okay.
Like I said, we are still also going to meet with the department heads again and tell them, is there anything else that you've not thought about that we need to put in? We'll add it. We'll double check our projections for our revenues. And we're also going to be getting more information for the fire protection. We're going to get award letters, and then we can budget the true revenue. Right now, we're basing it off of prior year. That's all the information we have. So it will get a lot cleaner for the final.
June is a
And
very, very busy month for
Yes.
receiving the actual amount.
And the finals due when?
July 31st.
July
So we'll
30th.
do it at the June meeting.
June or July meeting, yes.
July meeting.
Yeah, so we
usually.
submit the budget now, on or before June 1st. DFA has, that's the Department of Finance and Administration, they have a month to review it and approve it. And then that gets us our budget authority as of
Right.
July 31st. Then we can start closing our books, get our true cash balances, get the true fire awards, any other, like possibly DOH will know by then as well. And we'll have a lot cleaner budget, and we'll get more of the input, and we'll get the items that want to be voted on together for you. And we can discuss the agency funding then. So, like I said, this ties to all the detail that I have given you guys prior to this meeting. Do you have any other questions for this budget?
I think it's a good start for our final. And I think this is definitely approvable. DFA will approve this, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've approved these. It meets all the criteria
Yeah.
for the state.
Well done.
Okay. Here's our Cibola County monthly finance report as of, April 31st. Look at that. April 30th. So here again, so we don't have any ending deficit cash balances. We're going to ensure that again also for the throughout the rest of the year, because by June 30th we can't have any deficits. So we're doing really good now, or here in the yellow. Here's our general fund here in the yellow or the orange highlighted area. That's just to point out, those are our operating cash as of April 30th. And then you can see again, our transfers equal 0. Excuse me, they're in the green cell. Any questions on where we stand as of April 30th?
No.
Okay, monthly multiple choice. So let's challenge Kate.
What?
So Kate, what report in Tyler reconciles to our beginning and ending cash balances on the monthly finance report recap and also gets reconciled to the bank statements? Is it A, the detail versus budget report, B, the budget report, C, the pooled cash report, or D, the account listing report?
Let me think.
Judy?
Da, 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 da. Do you want to see the answer? It's number C. The pool
Number
cash
C?
report.
Letters.
Letter C. Pool cash report.
So the detail versus budget report. I want to stress this to you guys so that you know what to ask for. If if you're not able to get the financial reporting, you'll know what reports to ask for. The detail versus budget report shows us the revenues, expenditures, and transfers that we put on that monthly recap back there. That's all these, the revenues, so you can get all that information from that report. The budget report shows us the original budget, the current adjusted budget, and how much has been received or spent from the budget. And the account listing report shows us all the activated and deactivated accounts within a fund. So the answer is C. Kate wins. The pooled cash report is the correct answer. It shows the amount of cash in the bank when it's reconciled to the bank statement. So that's why we do the monthly report, and it's backdated to the end of April because we need time to get all the entries in to make sure that the pooled cash reports are reconciled to the bank statements, and so we're reporting to you correctly. So you can also get the pooled cash numbers from the balance sheet as well. It's just that balance sheet has additional information such as investments, buildings, depreciation,
Or our assets.
accounts, all the other assets and liabilities in equity. So, good job, Kate. These will be the budget adjustments I'm recommending tonight. You can see the justifications on the right-hand side.
And these are all internal.
These are all internal except for the sanitation.
Yeah.
We need an increase there on the top. Remember, if it's a blue S, that means it's a state bar. The L's mean local. That's terminology created by DFA for their LGBMS system. And we have our expenditures in red for ease of seeing it. Our revenues are green, transfers are orange. And you can see the account numbers associated with the descriptions of the accounts and the reason for the adjustments. So all the local bars, whatever is going out is going back into another account.
They're not increasing their budget.
They're not increasing their budget, they're realigning their authority to finish out the end of the year. So
Yeah.
reallocating is basically what they're doing.
And that's the correct way of doing it, rather than having the line items in a deficit. We want to make sure that everybody understands that line items cannot be in a deficit. So you need to manage your budget if you're going to overspend in any line item.
Yes, and then this tool, it gives the authority to the department to make up their mind on how they want to adjust their budget. So it's not us messing with their budget. You guys have authorized it. It gives them an opportunity to manage their own budget. And I'm just the mechanism to bring it to you for your consideration. And here's the second page of budget adjustments.
This always happens at this time of the year, just so you know, because everybody's looking to see how much money, which is a good thing. They're keeping an eye on their budget, and they're saying, okay, we're going to overspend in this line item. That's why we have so many local increases.
Yeah, and some of the small departments, they get really tight budgets
Yes.
because maybe they have one employee or two employees, so we know almost exactly what the budget,
It's great. It's really good.
so they get down to the nitty gritty, those smaller departments. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you.
Did you want to review my question?
Oh, so Christine had a question on this one here. She said, so this is the maintenance overtime. She was wondering, what does that mean? Exceeded overtime due to COVID and road needing janitorial.
Good question. Yes, so this is one of these things that we didn't foresee with COVID, but we wanted to make sure that our janitors were keeping everything clean. So what we did is we increased those part-time employees to full-time, and we directed them to also be the janitor for the road department. So they weren't doing their own janitorial. We had professional people coming in with professional equipment and everything to make sure that we are taking care of our employees. That's why.
Thank you.
Great question.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, I just
Yes.
want to say how grateful I am to you, Paul, and your team for all that you've done for the county, but not just for the county, but for the city of Grants and for the village of Milan, and any other surrounding community that needs your help. You're always willing to do that, and I just want you to know how much we appreciate and value you, and glad you're here.
Well, thank you, thank you. And I appreciate you guys letting me do this, and it's important. It's one of the things we always preached when I worked with the state, and that we would preach at the conferences, network. Use your other entities, if you can. We're all connected here, so we should be helping each other out. We don't want to see anybody fail.
No.
Thank you.
There's one other report that I'd like to just bring up is, just so you know, I know there's probably a little bit of people talking about the ARP, which is the American Rescue Plan. We're getting information, we're getting more guidance from the treasurers, but I want you to know that we're actually already in meetings, coming up with some ideas of how we're going to decide with the funding and what we're going to do. How is it going to benefit our community? So I will be asking commissioners one at a time to come into one of our meetings that we're putting together, just so we can, what I'm planning is, we're going to do the nitty gritty so we know what we can spend, and then we'll bring it to you for your approval or discussion and approval with what we're recommending that we can do. Because it's a lot of money, but it's also, you have to think about the big picture of everyone. So the city of Grants will not be receiving any ARP, neither will the village. So I have brought them in at the same, like we did with CARES Act funding, and we are having a team effort of what really needs, what we can do. We have our wish list, and then we've literally we looked at the guidance, and a lot of the wish list we can't do because of the federal guidance, but there are some really good things. So we're working on it. I just want to let you know that we know about it and we are working on it. So thank you.
Do you have any questions in regards to that?
I have one. How much money are we talking? Do we have any idea?
5 million. And we have until 2024 to expend that 5 million. So it's a little different than the CARES Act funding that we received. And there's a lot of other things that we can do. So we're looking at the big picture. We're looking at everything so we can see how we can spend it the best way we know how to get it back into the community. So.
Under the ARP, I have a question. Under the ARP, Does the county also have the opportunity to apply for funds under the different departments or programs that that will have the ARP funds?
I'm really sorry, Commissioner, I didn't get the question. Can you say it again?
Will the county be able to have the opportunity to apply for additional ARP funds from other departments? For like, I know that they're giving a chunk of it to the CDC, to other health organizations and stuff like that.
So we won't be able to, we have to act, that's a good question. We have just this money. We're not able to ask for any of that. They have to manage those departments. So, like for instance, this is why Judy and I were talking, I wanted to let you know that Red Bolt is received a lot of funding on the ARP side, and they have a 5-year plan, and it's, I think it's like 40 million or something they received.
Huge
They have a 5-year plan to get the whole of the county with broadband.
Okay.
But with that, saying that, there's pockets of the county that they cannot get to because they have a budget with 5 years planning. So they actually did come to us already and asked us, you know, do we have any funding to add to that? So we said we don't have 20 million, sorry, right? But what can we do? So they actually have done a proposal for us to help an area that needs to fill that pocket to get into that area. So those are the things that we're sort of working on and figuring out if we can do it or not. So broadband was one of the biggest things that this federal department wants us to utilize, to use. Broadband is it helps a lot of people, right? But it's also very expensive. So that's a very good question. This is all new. Paul is applying through the federal treasury, and it's going to take him days just to do the application.
Okay.
So we're a little bit leery because it's brand new and we don't know how it's all going to go. But we've all had meetings and we're trying to figure out what we need to do.
Any other questions? Okay. Does that complete the report?
That does. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Well, we thank you for giving us the report and to have a look at the interim budget that will be presented to us under the new business. But echoing our Commissioner Windhorse's compliment and appreciation for the work that's being done in our finance department, the finance director, it really shows that other people that are not, that don't see the situation here on a daily basis are able to recognize that we have done very well, the county has done very well, and with that they have provided an award to the county. So it speaks a lot about what we're capable of doing and what we have done. I don't think we have foreseen this when we started a few years back, when we had to find our way through the whole finance situation here, but we were able to do it, meaning we, including the commissioner and also the staff that have worked really hard and finding the right people to get into these positions to work with us and to work to get the county back in good standing, and we have exceeded a lot of the expectation that was there. So thank you to the staff for doing all the work. Thank you.
We have a wonderful team, so thank you.
Thank you. And our legal team has been there with us all along, making sure we're doing everything legally, keeping us out of trouble.
Keep us from going to jail.
Uh-huh.
It's all right, if we go to jail, they go with us, remember?
If we can ever get that contract approved.
Yeah.
With that, let's go to the new business. We have a number of presentations on the resolutions here, and action may be taken according to what's available or what's within those documents. So let's move on to the new business. The first one would be the consideration of Resolution 21-28, Budget Adjustment Number 9.
Thank you, sorry. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. This is the one that Paul has already reported it to you. Those are the budget adjustments. I do recommend that we approve those so we can move on.
Okay, well, need a motion and a second in order to do that.
I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2128, Budget Adjustment Number 9.
And I second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Ralph Lucero and Robert Windhorst. How do you vote, Mr. Lucero?
Yes.
Commissioner? Okay, Commissioner Windhorst,
Yes.
Commissioner Lowry,
Yes.
and I myself vote yes. So with that, this resolution has passed.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda for consideration is the interim budget resolution 21-32 FY22 interim budget, and that has also been explained to us. So if there's no additional information that's going to be given on this, we will.
I could if you have questions.
Okay.
The recap just pretty much sums up all of the detail I have given you for review. So remember, the budget's a living document. We can always do budget adjustments as well.
Okay.
Find something that you'd like.
With that, the resolution 21-32 is ready for a motion and a second.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 21-32, the interim operating budget resolution.
I second.
Okay, with that, we have a motion to approve this resolution by a motion by Robert Windhorst, second by Christine Lowry. And this is an interim budget. We will be using this to start operating July 1st. And then in July, the final budget will be presented. So between now and then, the team here will be working to finalize the final budget for FY 2021 and 2022. So with that, we'll go to the roll call vote. Ralph Lucero,
Yes.
Robert Windhorst,
Yes.
Christine Lowry,
Yes.
and I myself vote yes. So with that, 4 in favor, we have adopted and passed resolution 21-32.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. The next item on the new business is resolution 21-29 regarding Transportation Project Fund application CR1.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'm going to turn this over to our projects coordinator, Ms. Judy. This is something that we need to get passed. No, just in time. Thanks, Judy.
Sure. So we were told by our TPO that there was the local government funding again this year. We received some local government funding in 2019 for County Road 18B. We're actually in the middle of getting that awarded to the engineer to finish the design on that, and then once the design is complete, to go into construction. So this is the same type of funding. Like other funding, this is not a reimbursable grant. So actually we received it, once we award it to the engineer, we'll actually receive that full amount. And we go off of that money to pay our contractors and our designers, engineers.
With the approval of
Right, I have to send all the information, my notice to proceed, a notice of award, a letter stating everything, and then I submit that to DOT, and then once all of that is submitted, then they provide the money to the county. So this is the same type of grant. We've had, as you know, and I've come to you with County Road 1, because that is a bridge project that is in dire need of repair. The design on that, so we'll have to start with the design. The design on that is only about 30% complete. So we do have to work on that. We do have to work on right-of-way. There's several issues that we have to address before we start to construction. But there will be some, I have requested, initially they told us there wouldn't be a lot of funding, so initially I was only going to request $500,000. But later they said that there's more funding available, so then I requested 1.25 million is the request amount. I'm not sure how much we will be awarded, but that is what we're requesting, because there's so much just in the initial phases that need to be completed on this project. And I stand for any questions.
Well, I have a few. I think I have a few. I still don't understand why we insist on placing so much money on County Road 1 when that road belongs. The only place it goes to is Marcus. There's two families that live in Marcus, nobody else. And yet we pump money into this road that nobody lives on. And I know everybody's going to tell me, well, we got the wind farm, we got the solar farm, we got this. My opinion, why are we spending our money to fix a road that the people from the wind farm and the solar farm should be fixing? It's their road. I mean, they're the ones that use it. So I just don't understand why we as a county need to spend money or ask the state money for something that is actually no really use to this county.
Thank you. Can I I understand the frustration. I hear you, and I hear it all the time, and we talk about it a lot. That is one of our county roads. Whether we like it or not, it's ours. And for our job, our responsibility is the safety of our constituents. Whether they live on that road or drive on that road or going to work, use that road, our job is to make sure that that road is safe. And I think that's the clearest way that I know how frustrating it is, but it is on our road. It is our road. As a county, we are responsible for it, whether we like it or not.
Well, I understand that we're responsible for it. That's not my question. My question is, why are we spending this big amount of money? Why can't we do a cheaper bridge? You know, all I'm saying is,
well, we don't know yet, do we? So we haven't that's why we get an engineer to do those studies and those testing to see what we can actually purchase. We don't know how much it's going to cost.
Of all the bridges that we have in the county, the two most dire bridges are County Road 18B, which, as I stated, we're working on, and County Road 1. There are no other roads or bridges in the county that need attention and can be such a huge liability for the county if it isn't repaired. That's why I keep presenting this one. It's not, it is because it is so critical. If it wasn't so critical, I would not be presenting it.
you know, I would understand if there was a school bus route out there, something, but I mean, there's nothing out there. I know, I used to go out there all the time. And
But it's still a liability.
Yeah, I understand.
One of the issues that we talk a lot on our team when we discuss this is we have to figure out what funding we can request for on certain projects. So we can't use we can't ask for certain roads in certain funds. So we can there's only a certain amount of roads that we can ask for the school bus route DOT funding. And then we have the special DOT funding. This is not that cannot be connected to any of those fundings that we get on an annual basis. So we don't have any funding source except this source right now.
There is a special projects, but you'll never get this amount of funding. And so to get this amount of funding for a project that's this critical, we have to at least try for
I
it.
did ask Edward to come in here because I know that this is a frustrating, we talk about this a lot. And Edward is our road superintendent, and he's sort of, we're guiding him, but he's also guiding us. He's been out there, and Edward, would you like to say something on this?
So, I was out there last week, I had a compass engineer with me, and we walked through that bridge and stuff, and me, just looking at it, I noticed that it's starting to migrate even more north onto the road, so I had the crew go out there and put some concrete barriers for the safety. And again, I get it, there's not that much people out there, but one person, it's not.
Yeah, it's a liability.
So Compass is gonna get back with me and give me some recommendations. And as soon as they get that, I will get those changed.
And this is also a road, I've been attending the RTPO meetings for years now, on and off. But it is a road that NMDOT would like very much for us to address and to get taken care of. So with their support, it is a road that I think we have an excellent chance of getting funded, aside from any other road. And I do believe that if we did request funding for any other road other than County Road 1, they would look at me like, why are you asking for funding for that when you have this road that we've told you over and over again needs critical attention? So I think it would be, at this time, without asking for this funding, it wouldn't bode well for the county, I don't believe.
Okay, Commissioner Windhorst?
Madam Chair, at this particular time, it seems like it's the best time to do it.
I agree.
Because with the gas, oil, and coal revenues shrinking in our state, we may not have the money in the next few years to do such a project. And I think if NDOT, New Mexico DOT, thinks it's a priority, then we should do it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you all. Thank you for your questions.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
Yes, Madam Chair. I represent District 1, and this road, I've been out there 3 times, twice with the team from the county, and the economic viability of that area has not been explored yet. We do have the wind turbines out there, and we have the solar farm out there. We have the ranches that are there, and this is what they depend on to get their cattle to market. But we don't know the full potential of that area economically. And so 10 years from now, who knows what's going to be out there. So I think this is a real investment in the future. And for the county, it's a good investment in the economic area of our county. So I fully support this. And if we're ready for a motion.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I would like to make that motion. I move that we approve declaring the eligibility and intent of the county to submit an application to the New Mexico Department of Transportation, NMDOT, for fiscal year 22 for local government transportation project funds.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 21-29. If there's no further questions at this time, I'll ask for a roll call vote. Commissioner Lucero?
No.
Commissioner Windhorst?
Yes.
And Commissioner Lowry?
Yes.
And I myself vote yes.
Thank you.
So with 3 in favor and 1 opposition, we have passed Resolution 2129. And we will just keep our fingers crossed that we will get the requested amount that's in the application. And also that it's stated that we will be, if it goes over that, then the county will fund what is remaining. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
The next resolution that is here for consideration is Resolution 2130. And this is in regards to Rural Addressing and Planning Office.
Thank you very much. This is a plotter. This is what we have to do because it's government funds. Whatever we own, we have to make sure that we can't throw anything away if it's. So Anna is going to explain what a plotter is, and then this is what we have to do with the laws that we have to comply with. So go for it, Anna.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. The plotter is our big mapper, prints our big maps. We had it in our budget this year to replace it because it's getting old, and it has been a difficult plotter to begin with. So we did replace it, and we did have the new one is already installed. We just need this resolution to go ahead and dispose of the old one so that we can not have to store it.
Okay.
How do you dispose of a plotter? How do you dispose of a plotter?
Well, we'll put it on the GovDeals auction. It could be of use to a small business that needs a big printer. It could be of use to a surveyor. It does the scanning and the plotting. It can do the maps. It can do the large-scale maps. It could do, if we had a local business that needs a big printer that wants to do big printing, they have the opportunity to bid on it too, and get a machine that they can do create a business out of, basically.
And this is why we have to comply, because it's taxpayer money that we purchased it with, so we have to give it back for an opportunity for everybody to be able to utilize it as well. So, thank you, Anna.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. How old is the plotter?
It's 2013 or 14, I think, is when we purchased it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like ancient history, but it's also not the newest thing on the market either.
Okay.
Thank you, Anna.
So with that, Commissioners, stand for a motion and a second.
I make a motion, Madam Chair, that we approve Resolution 2130.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 21-30. I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Lucero?
Yes.
Commissioner Windhorse?
Yes.
Laurie? Commissioner?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna.
Okay, the next item on the agenda would be consideration of Resolution 2131, Road Review Committee Board appointments.
Thank you very much. So this is something that we just need to keep up with. So I don't know whether you remember last year we appointed a road review and we put it in a resolution that certain people within the county are on the road review. Well, Gary Porter has retired and we have a new superintendent. So what we're asking is to change the names of the person to add Mr. Edwards. Would you like to add anything else? That's basically what we're doing.
So the last resolution was actually, we had expiration dates, and the commissioners, both of the commissioners who were on the committee and myself, we were all expired, so that by the time, the only person on the committee was Kate. So we needed to make these changes and adjustments so that we have people on the committee so we can continue to do the meetings and do the work that we need to do.
Thank you. I really don't want to do this all by myself, so.
So are you telling us that,
To approve the appointments that we put in our, for the committee of the appointments,
okay,
to approve the resolution number 2021-31, so we can continue to review our roads with more than just me doing it.
so you're adding five
Yes.
additional members?
No.
So, no, we're just
Six.
actually
No, not adding, but these people would either continue or,
continue, or we've just basically changed as the road superintendent.
okay,
And we put them as the actual job description, so we don't have to do this really again in a sense of, if we get a new person in this job description, they can continue until we can address it as a commission again.
okay.
So, because I will get lost if I do this on my own, so please.
Okay. Do I have a motion and a second on this?
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2021-31, the appointment of members to the County Road Review Board as were listed in this resolution.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, with that, we have two commissioners that are on this board, and that will be Ralph Lucero and Daniel Torres, that will represent us from the commission side on the committee. With that, Ralph Lucero, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Windhorse, how do you vote?
Yes.
Christine Lowry?
Yes.
And I myself vote yes. So this resolution passed, and you have a committee now.
Thank you so much. That'll take me on a long drive.
Okay, we don't have any documentations, but I
Yep.
assume that we have an explanation on consideration of core civic contract.
Dave,
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. So several months ago, this board approved a contract with Core Civic, and pursuant to the statutory process, we had to submit that to the Department of Finance and Administration for review, the Attorney General's Office for review, and the Risk Management Department of the General Services Division for review. We've done that, and we've been working through that process over the last several months. And what I'm looking for today is for authorization from the board to allow Kate to execute a revised contract once we receive those revisions from the state, and once we receive approval of the contract in its present form. So at this point, it's changed in the following manner. Sally Malave with the Attorney General's Office requested that we post, or that Core Civic post a $2 million performance bond. To do that, it increased the cost of the inmate per diem cost by almost $1 a day. We attempted to negotiate and to suggest that $1 million performance bond as originally negotiated would be more than sufficient. We're required to house these inmates anyway, so if they fail to perform, we're going to have to identify alternate housing, and we had a back and forth about that. But it appears as though they're going to require at least the $2 million, maybe up to $4.5 million performance bond. So what I'm looking for is authorization that the board authorize the county manager to execute the revised contract once approved by the Attorney General's Office, RMD, and DFA. The folks from RMD and DFA have already suggested that things look okay on their end. We're just waiting for that final clearance from the AG's office.
and I really appreciate, I know that I see all the emails, I'm looking at them, we're talking. This is, we need to get this approved, and Dave's been working so hard with them, with all the other entities, and I'm really hoping that we can get this approved really quickly. Yes, Dave?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
And Core Civic has been very helpful, haven't they? I mean, they've been very,
Oh, my gosh. Well, and more than Core Civic, our staff has been. I mean, I've had to reach out to our staff several times
Yeah.
now for assistance in securing information for the AG's office, and they've been very responsive and very helpful. And I just want to give a shout out to them as well. Thank you.
thanks, Dave.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just for clarification, what is a performance bond?
So it's if Core Civic fails to perform, let's say they decide they're pulling out tomorrow and they're not going to house any of our inmates, it's to give us money to move forward with the housing of them elsewhere. My thought is the measure of a performance bond would be the difference in cost between what we'd be paying them and what we'd be paying someone else. Their thought is that a performance bond should cover the entire cost of the contract sum, which we'd have to pay that money anyway. We have to budget that money anyway because we're not expecting to house them at CoreCivic for free. So that's why I would measure the need for the performance bond as the difference between what it would cost us to house them elsewhere as compared with what it costs us to house them at CoreCivic.
Okay.
But that's not the way the AG's office is seeing this.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave, for all that.
Okay, the only question that I have is, we're doing this by a motion and a vote to authorize our county manager to execute the final contract with CoreCivic, contract that's already in place, but there's some things that we still have to do in order to finalize that. Well, just putting it on the record in the minutes, will that justify that this is an action we had taken, even though we don't have a form or a document before us?
That's correct, Madam Chair. Normally, I wouldn't do that. This board has previously approved the form of contract. It's only being revised based on those requirements from the Attorney General's office.
Okay.
And we're not yet sure what that's going to be, whether or not they're going to accept the $2 million or require $4.5 million, whether or not they'll, reconsider the $1 million that we previously had. What I anticipate that's going to do is going to affect the terms relating to the per diem cost for our inmates. So that might go up. To the extent that they want to take it to a $2 million bond, that's going to increase our costs by approximately $1 per inmate per day.
Okay.
What are we currently paying?
57.94.
16.
Was it?
I believe it's 57.94.
Thank you. Yeah,
57.94.
so we dropped it. It was, we were doing lots of contracting, so we just need to get this, make sure it's approved.
And Madam Chair, just to quickly recap where we've been with this contract, we previously had a contract for 120 beds each
Every
day,
day.
and that's been dropped to 100. So the county manager's projected that should be approximately about $500,000
$500,000 that we were saving.
in annual cost savings to the county.
Okay.
So this is just a little,
Yeah, so this will eat up to about $30,000 of those cost savings.
So you want us to approve?
What I'd like is for you to authorize the county manager to execute a final form of contract once we receive that back from the Attorney General's office. And of course, we will bring that to the board at that point for just presentation. It'll be executed by the manager, but what I need is a record of the minutes of this commission authorizing the manager to execute that final contract with with CoreCivic.
And with that, if there are, for whatever reason, if there are issues that is not liking to the county, then our legal team will be able to say, advise her not to execute it because there's a big major change or something like that.
Madam Chair, absolutely. The only changes I envision at this point relate to the per diem cost and
Okay.
the amount of the performance bond. That's really all we're talking about at this point.
Okay, well, thank you very much. With that, I need a motion and a second to authorize our county manager, Kate Fletcher, to execute the final contract that will be coming down after it has been reviewed through the state.
So moved.
Yeah, I second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Lucero and second by Windhorse. Lucero, how do you vote on this?
Yes.
And Windhorse?
Yes.
And Laurie?
Yes.
And I myself, Garcia, votes yes.
thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Now we come to consider the request to approve requisition that is over $2,000. And we have a couple of them here.
20,000.
Over 20,000, I'm sorry, 20,000. And we have a couple of them here, so.
Thank you very much, and I'll try to explain this like every time it's over 20,000, I think it's really wise that you guys review them and know what we're spending. The first one is Logo Canyon water project materials for the fire department. That does come out of fire funds. That's all been gone through our checks and balances. They have the funding. It is over 20,000. That's 28,000. They budgeted for it. It's ready to go. One of these things is at the end of the fiscal year at this time, we shut down all unnecessary or unneeded expenses. So all departments can stop purchasing, so finance can then clean their books. So by June 30th, all checks that are out there have been cashed, so we have a clean book on June 30th. So we haven't had very many purchase orders, which is great because Wendy says no. But this is something that they really need to get done. And it's already, we have the money and we know that we'll be able to pay for it before June 30th. That's just the question that we always ask. Can we get this done and paid for before June 30th at this time? And we believe we can. So that is something that I would like to recommend, that one. And the HVAC upgrade, TLC. If you look at that cost, it's 1.5. Unfortunately, we do not have any heating and we do not have any cooling in this building. We have worked for a year and a half to figure out what is wrong with this building, with this HVAC. It is said on paper that it is contaminated. There is nothing that we can do to fix this system. So this is one of these unforeseen issues that we have to have approval so we can go forth and buy the materials, get TLC to do it. They're on state contract. They've done their homework. It's going to take, after you approve it, hopefully, it's going to take over 6 months just to get it running. My employees and district court have not had heat through the winter. It is now coming to the summer. It is outrageous, and we can deal with it on another, we are dealing with that issue. This issue right now is I need approval so we can get a good HVAC system in this building. And it's 1.5. We have also done our homework, done our due diligence. We had an investment committee. We asked for their input and we actually have options. Because we are healthy, we know what we have in our bank. So there are options that we're looking at. I like them. I want to forward this on to Paul just so he can assure you that we need to get this done and we have the money to get this done. Paul, would you like to add anything on that?
Sure. So we voted and came to a recommendation. We had two options. I mean, we have the cash. We could purchase it outright with cash. It's actually almost 1.6 million. And the other option is getting an NMFA loan. So I reached out to Ron Cruz at NMFA. We can get a 10-year loan, possibly at a 0% interest rate. If not, it might be 0.5. But he said that we qualify for the 0% interest rate. So we could do payments of $160,000 a year, and that way we can retain our cash for cash flow purposes. But we decided to recommend, let's take 1.6 out of the general fund, put it into an investment into the LGIP, let it earn interest, because right now the interest rates at LGIP, they've gone all the way down. I mean, they're close to zero because of the COVID and the Fed rates. They follow the Fed rates closely. So I anticipate the rates to go back up, and if we've got a 10-year loan, we were making some really good interest with our LGIP. We had rates, over 2%, and if we also requested to have a call option. So if we decide we want, or if you decide you'd like to pay it off all right away, there would be no penalty. So we could always pay it off if you wanted to. LGIP is very highly liquid. It's
Secure.
almost same as cash. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense for us to pay for it right away. Let's earn some interest on that
Well paid for.
1.6. Yes, Mr. Winter.
I have a question, and I think that a lot of citizens, the three that are probably watching on Facebook tonight, but I'd like to know for myself, oh, there's 5. Thank you. I'd like to know about the company that installed the air conditioning, heating, the HVAC system, and where is their responsibility in this is a relatively new building, and I'd like to know what is their responsibility in all of this, and I think the public,
Absolutely.
all 5 of you would like to know.
So, thank you. That's a really good question. We are working on all the facts and the figures. So, unfortunately, the company that was the subcontractor from the construction company that put this in, they've been dissolved. So it's going to take time for it to litigation or whatever. They're not there anymore. So we need to do our homework to work with our legal. We're trying to get all the facts, gather all the information, but that has to happen while we have a heater. We can't wait for the resolve if we don't have heating and cooling. So yes, it is. Yes, you have no idea how frustrating it is with a brand new building. But there's not, right now, we need to make this decision to continue having heat and cooling within our complex. But I assure you, we are gathering the information and we're figuring out what we can do on that end. Does that help?
Oh, that helps a lot.
So-
And I'm all for taking care of the HVAC system. You cannot be without it.
Well, and my only question is, Madam Chair, is are we going to seek legal action
I hope so, yes.
through them, somebody, James Construction, whoever?
Yes, we will, the legal team
We would
is,
like to hold them accountable
yep,
for
absolutely.
part of
And
the
then
discussion.
my second comment is I like Mr. Ludi's option of getting the money on a 10-year loan. I think that's very viable because we'll be earning a little tiny bit of interest on our
For
cash.
now, but the rates,
They're going
you
up.
know,
Yeah.
once the pandemic's over and we get these rates going back up, we could offset, quite a bit of money. I mean, what was it in 19? We made about 100,000 in interest.
Yeah,
So I like that idea myself.
I do
So
too.
And then after the 10 years, we could take that 1.6 out and put it back into the general fund. We don't need it to operate right now. We're
fine.
We're in good shape with our cash balances.
Okay.
I'm loving that we have options, right?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the 28,625.77 for the Lobo Canyon San Rafael Fire Department. And I also make a motion that we approve for the $1.6 million for the HVAC system, going with a loan from the state.
It's the New Mexico Finance Authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, we have a motion by Commissioner Lucero to approve the requisition that's over 20,000. There's a couple of them there. We have a second.
I second that.
Okay, we have a second on that. And,
Question, Madam Chair.
okay,
Okay, just to clarify, the 1.6 out of the general fund, that's the one that we can earn interest on, right?
Yes, that's correct. So we found through our audit, the good thing is this, we found $2.7 million in the tax operating account that belongs to the general fund. So right now, That's being moved over. So when we liquidated the Cedars account, do you remember that back? So that was almost $2.8 million. It went into the tax operating account. The check was deposited because we had to go from Wells Fargo to LGIP electronically because the state, they weren't able to work with US Bank to do that. So we pulled the money out of US Bank, put it into Wells Fargo, and then it was deposited into the tax operating account. Then they sent the 2.7 or 2.8 that was invested into LGIP, they used the main operating account.
So
So the tax operating account's a flow-through for
summarize,
property taxes. The main operating is our general fund. So we need to reimburse, we got 2.7.
it was an error, and that's why we have the tools in place to find those errors when it happens, because there's so many pieces of what we have to do with our internal and banks. It was a nice error, but it still was an error that we had to catch, and so now this is a good thing. But it's not a good thing that it did take a while for us to realize the treasurer had put it into the operating tax account instead of the general fund. Is that right, Paul?
That's correct.
Okay.
Does the motion follow the recommendation of the investment committees?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Everybody agreed unanimously. Myself, Daniel Torres, and Kathy Gonzalez all voted for it.
Did Kathy vote?
Kathy was not.
Oh,
she was
that's
present.
right. It was just Daniel Torres and myself. Kathy did not show up, but Johnny did come in her place. But he wasn't qualified per our policy to vote in her stead. Only Chairman Torres has a backup, which is Dr. Christine Lowry. So
But there was a
Commissioner
quorum.
Lowry was in attendance as well. But Daniel Torres and myself, we constituted a quorum, 2 out of 3, and we voted to recommend this.
Okay.
The deputy treasurer, just so you know, he was in agreement as well.
Yes, he was.
Okay, so any further questions in regards to this? If not, let's go to a vote at this time. Lucero?
Yes.
Commissioner? Windhorse?
Yes.
Christine?
Yes.
Lowry? And I, Garcia, vote yes. So the requisition has been approved.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Commissioner Garcia, before we go into executive session, I have Eileen here, and she'll be giving you, right now she's going to give you a press release that we'll be putting on our website. We wanted to give you it first. Unfortunately, it's not on our agenda, so we cannot discuss this, but I want to let everybody can see it.
Okay, thank you.
It's a press release going to media. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, you have received a document, and it's not on our agenda for discussion, but it's for your information, and if there's any questions, then you can ask those directly to our county manager. And if there is something that needs to be done, it will probably show up at our next meeting.
Thank you.
So with that, we are now at item 10, executive session. Pursuant to Section 10-15-1H, the following matters may be discussed in closed sessions. Motion and roll call vote to go into executive session, and that pursuant to New Mexico State Statute, Section 10-15-1, only the following matters will be discussed in closed sessions. The one that's highlighted there, pending or threatening litigation, 10-15-1H7, Cibola County versus TRD. I need a motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion. That we go
Okay,
to executive session.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Lucero to go into executive section, second by Commissioner Lowry. How do you vote on that, Commissioner Lucero?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Windhorse,
Yes.
and then Lowry,
Yes.
and I, Garcia, vote yes. So at this time.